Now check this out. What were we made to do, and how did we evolve to be social? Okay? So, think about that. Really, we didn't have this dense population. Whenever you're walking around in an airport or, on my way over here, or you're on a plane and it's packed, who do you talk to? At most, you talk superficially to the person next to you. And superficial conversations suck, right? They're shitty. They're not fulfilling in any way. We all kind of hate them, and, we all try and get good with them because, that's what we have is our culture. But how we actually evolved was with very few people. And actually what was so interesting about James's speech, which made me rethink a lot of stuff, but man, we talked once a day. We had a meaningful interaction. We didn't have to do 100 sets. We didn't have to do some super crazy escalation model. I love all that stuff, okay? I've done it, and I may still do it again. I'm going to unnaturally talk to all of you guys after this, but I have to realize what I was made to have, what was so fundamentally important, and my fulfillment is dependent upon it, is that I have to bring it back to what I was made to do. And everybody is different. Everybody has a different evolutionary path, but hey, we're talking about some consistencies here. So we want to normalize being social. Guess what? You got social anxiety, and let me tell you, the people that I work with, I've been doing this job for almost 10 years now, about 6 years, been working with people who have mad addiction problems. Yesterday was a funeral for somebody that I knew. Ed and I, it's actually totally fucked up, this guy that we trained with. And I worked with very directly on this. He had passed away about a year ago. I see this happen all the time. But with those guys, guess what? When you have trauma, when you have a really screwed up mentality, when you have had something which made you in shock and in fear and anxiety that on a completely different level, on ways that might be hard to comprehend. In fact, I remember after a speech that I gave, I contacted a mutual friend of ours, and I said, man, these guys are talking about how they traveled and didn't know what to do and then found what to do, and it was this big thing, and God, you've made decisions where you were just trying to keep a fucking needle out of your arm and cut withdrawals and all that sort of shit. He's like, dude, you can't bring that up. People aren't going to understand that. But all those people, guess what they do? Guess what they do to learn to be social and learn what I would actually say a higher functioning social skill set that is more consistent that I see of people that come out of the seduction industry, including myself in that, is they normalize being social. Guess what they do? They have one meaningful interaction a day. They say hello to people, not to fucking get a result, not to be something, not to get any expectation, but to be an expression. Because you've got to be an expression. You've got to be okay with your identity, who you are, and put it out there with the world in order to get an exchange. And that isn't a superficial exchange. That is an exchange of that real person back towards you. And if you get that, you become a little bit fulfilled. You still may want to do all these other things that culture may say, hey, I want to get laid. Hey, I haven't had these experiences where I'm the shit, where I walk into a club and everybody high-fives me. When I watch so-and-so walk into the strip club, all the strippers leave from their dances and run to him. I want that. And that is still imprinted in my mind. But never achieved that one, motherfucker. But anyway, so it's I want that definition. But you know what? If I start having one meaningful interaction a day, and I do that for let's say 6 months, a year, guess what? Man, I get to start to understand myself. I get to start to relax. I get to stop making it about all this shit and stop doing all this ridiculous, crap in order to be social.
At this point, all around the world. I believe he was actually one of two, or maybe even the only speaker in 2012 who spoke at all 3 events held in that year in London, Texas, and Australia. So please give a warm welcome to Steve Mayeda, founder of The Sexual Life.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, man. Man, what an honor to be brought on stage by Anthony Johnson. we all know he's done so much to shape and influence men. But look, I want to start this off with something a little bit different. And standing on this stage, who gave a presentation, is one of the best in the world. I mean, hands down. Higher level of things when guys are more involved in it, 10 times. I mean, there's like 20 hours where we are interacting and talking. I started that, but man, all the ideas here come from those guys. I mean, it's amazing. You know, it's basically what we do. I love teaching in that way. There's no hierarchy. I mean, they're always busting my balls at like, man, take on the leader role, take on the authoritative role, and I'm like, man, but I don't believe in that. You know, I believe I believe that we're all equals. I believe that everyone here has the same potential for your happiness in your social life, your sexual life, your health, and all that sort of stuff. I'm never going to be Skylar Tanner or Socrates. I'm never going to be Nick. I'm never going to be James and James. But I'm going to be an expression of myself. You know, and we can't be other people. We just have to be who we are. And anyway, that's kind of what we teach. But we teach in this template of like, look, let's start out with some basics.